So busy morning for us.
Definitely.
And what do we cut? What do we? Oh, this is Svein Fossa, by the way, Vice President of OFI,
Yep.
President of the European Pet Organization, and what's your other title?
Secretary General of the Norwegian Pet Trade Association.
All right. So what was it we covered off this morning? Why was this morning so busy?
It turned out a lot more busy than anticipated. We started off with 2 proposals on stony corals, and immediately after that, the chair went on to document on marine ornamental fishes. So it came in a very rapid order, everything.
Yeah, it was quite stressful, I guess. So what? Well, give us a summary. What happened with stony corals? What was that? How did it go? How did it go down?
The stony coral documents are 2 papers, 66.1 and 66.2. One on definitions primarily, and the other one on source codes for captive produced corals. 66.1, where we have had some concerns on behalf of the trade for the definitions used, particularly for substrate on non-CITES invertebrates, was rushed through by this year. I've never seen anything going through so quickly, and unfortunately he forgot to ask about interventions from observer.
Yeah, I had to get my button in quick, even though he hadn't asked, because I was like, otherwise we won't get a chance.
I saw you panic pushing it, and I'm glad you did, because you made a very important intervention on behalf of every pet trade-related organization present, which rescued the situation, because even though the chair had closed the discussions on the document, formally he accepted to reopen it because of the intervention that you made, pointing particularly to the substrate problem. And luckily and thankfully that was immediately supported by ACA, the American Zoological Garden and Aquarium Association, which were so, they both were so close in arguing that Indonesia shipped in and supported this.
Yeah, it's good for them to it was good because with AZA I'd had the conversation with them only last night, and he caught up with me this morning just before the committee went live, and he saw the concerns that we had, and I think without him coming in as well to support us, I think we might not necessarily have had it open in the same way. So it's good to have those conversations outside of the committee.
Absolutely, and that's part of the problems in CITES. You can prepare fantastically well and have all the arguments in the world, but suddenly something happens that makes no one listening to what you have to say. But today we were lucky, and I must say that I'm very satisfied with us getting a remake of the definitions on substrate for non-CITES animals into the schedule for the future in CITES.
It's I mean there were lots of things that we asked for with stony corals, and with our position informed by conversations we've had with traders all around the world really, and it's a small win, but it's it's a welcome one. And I think the thing I've found here is even getting a slight deviation and a small win is like turning around a juggernaut at times.
Oh, absolutely. And I think if it goes the way we expect, I would dare to say that it will go once this comes back to a working group, I think it will make the situation a lot better for many people who are trading in corals and in animals that are attached to coral substrate. Because everything will be clearer on how to handle it under CITES.
Yeah, exactly. So, and what about marine ornamentals? I guess that wasn't quite as positive as we'd have hoped.
No, it's strange after all the work that has been put into that process that the final conclusions are rushed through in, I would say, less than 10 minutes. Where we end up with a kind of compromise decision where after a proposal by Israel, there is added a recommendation to the parties to actively search for species to put on CITES Appendix 3.
It doesn't really feel like a compromise, does it?
No, not at all. And I still don't understand how that text change got into the decision that was concluded by the chair at the end. I didn't hear any consensus in the room on adding that text. Still it got into, and it's kind of unheard of in CITES that you actively recommend the parties to search for something to list.
Yeah, it does seem like a bit overreach, really, and it's also superfluous text, right? Because it's something that parties can do anytime. Like parties are at liberty to look into species at any time. So adding that bit of text in does feel like it changes the intent of that particular decision, which otherwise was just asking for things that we would want, which is looking for more data and looking for more research on species.
And I would say that with the adapting a text that is so in wording trades hostile as it sounds, CITES is damaging its own reputation here, because CITES should be about controlling trade in cases where one can see a problem for the survival of a species. It's not about listing as many species as possible, which this text kind of invites to.
Yeah, and look, this is the thing. I mean, there's as was discussed in that workshop that we attended last year, that there still isn't the data to show that the marine ornamental species are threatened by international trade.
No, and if someone found a species where that was clear, that trade was a problem, I would support it as I've done before. But
these decisions need to be evidence-driven, I think, at the end of the day.
Yes, if you see a problem, then you can propose a listing. You don't look for something to list and thereafter see if there is a reason to list it.
Yeah, I agree. So that's a roundup from this morning's activities on, what are we, day 4 of CITES CoP?